I mean, if you're a Bears fan, you're thinking forward progress. Come on.
10, 219, 219.
Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abaticola on 312 Sports.
You want forward progress, you have it right now. Bernstein and Abaticola here on 312 Sports. And as the combine gets going and there are young men running around in their underpants and older men taking notes and oohing and eyeing at what they do, as important as that is, it's also meaningful when the powers that be representing the teams speak to their respective assembled groups of media. And that is exactly what the Bears general manager and coach did in Indianapolis today.
Yep, so we have a few cuts from Ryan Poles and then one from Ben Johnson. So I'll just walk you through all these cuts here that we have. We're going to start with Ryan Poles, and he talked about Ian Cunningham, of course, the assistant general manager who moved on to Atlanta as their general manager. So let's hear what Ryan Poles had to say about that situation, then some things to discuss about that too.
Really proud that Ian has the opportunity to be a general manager. Something we've talked about for a long time before we even employed by the Bears. It was our vision to climb through the ranks, get a seat, the GM seat, and then help the other one get to their position as well. So really happy for him. How we do that and why we do that has nothing to do with compensation whatsoever. I want to make that very clear. On the other side, there's a set of rules that were put in place that I think can be applied to this situation. So we've communicated through the right channels, so we'll see what happens as we move forward. No one personally called me from the league, so it is a little strange. I mean, at the end of the day, you should want to develop your staff regardless of the color of their skin. I think that's important. I think we take a lot of pride with the Bears on how we have our setup, and I take a lot of pride in that. So to be compensated for that's a little strange. I mean, I saw the Chiefs get a pick because of me, and then I watched that player go and play. It's just a little odd. But at the end of the day, if they think that's what's best to help incentivize, then that's what they wanted to do. But at the end of the day, like I said, that's not the purpose of why we develop our staff. But if that's the rule they have in place, then I think it's very clear in the situation on what should happen. But we'll see what they think.
What's clear? He just made it completely unclear. How hard are you going to fight for the compensatory draft picks?
Okay, I'm glad you said it that way, because from what I heard from everything he said, that he believes that it's not something to fight very hard for. That's what I heard from him, that he thinks it's weird. He thinks it's weird the Chiefs got a pick because he left, but it's something they have set up. So if that's what they believe is important to incentivize the opportunity for people to get,
no one's debating that.
Right.
That's not in question here. The question is,
he doesn't seem like he supports it. He doesn't seem like that to me. Says, yeah, I've reached out and I've communicated, I haven't heard anything back. I thought we already had the ruling that they weren't going to give them any picks. And
I also had read that they thought they had a case to go say that he is their top football person, regardless of Matt Ryan's role, especially after Matt Ryan came out and said, hey, Ian's making all those decisions. I've never done this before. I don't have any experience at it. He's doing all that. And that renewed the idea that the Bears kind of got the shaft in this. That's a very strange response, because it sounds to me like Poles is inoculating against concerns about hiring and promoting for the purpose of just getting picks. And no one's saying that.
Correct.
No one's accusing him of that. That was
right.
weird.
No one is, but it is weird. He may not personally think it's a good rule to have in place, but it's the rule in place. And his team deserves to get those sorry here.
The picks. I want him advocating for the Bears. I want him to charge the mound on this one. I go out there and just say, hey, yo.
And even too, on top of that, Dan, Ian Cunningham actually said, from his understanding of the rule, the Bears deserve 2 draft picks.
Right.
Ian Cunningham said that himself.
That's a response I didn't expect. It's one thing for a GM to say, we respect the decision of the league. They have whatever matrix they use to make these determinations. But for some reason, he seemed to be very careful in saying, well, this is not how we set up our front office. It's not why we make the hires that they do.
No one said that's why you did it. But,
No.
but to say that it's weird and, the Chiefs got to pick because of me, then I saw that guy go play.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, whether you agree with the rule or not, or you don't like what's the underlying tone of that rule, that's the rule. And those are 2 draft picks that your organization deserves.
Yeah, if you're not going to do it, somebody else should. Somebody else should be making those calls and asking why this didn't rise to compensatory status that it would seem to. I don't know.
But I thought, though, a week or two ago that we already heard the ruling that they weren't going to get the picks.
We did. But then we heard it was possible they could appeal it. I don't know.
All right, so maybe that's where they're at with it. But I just thought that whole thing I thought that was strange.
I agree.
I really did. All right, he was also asked about his philosophy on the first-round draft pick. Like, are you looking to fill needs? You're looking for the best player, and here's what he had to say about the first-round pick.
Yeah, philosophically, I feel the same. It's going to be the best player available. I know that may not be the most popular thing because people see kind of like on my board I have yellow tags where we need to fill in, but at the same time, I do believe, especially in early rounds like 1, you really got to stick to the best player available. We saw that last year. I know there's a lot of questions like, you got Cole, why would you take Colston? I think we found out that it helped us along the way. So we'll continue to lean into that philosophy.
How tricky is it?
He also said, too, that he believes this draft class is much deeper in the edge rush than it is interior.
Understandable. I also think Phil Needs is going to be long gone by the time they pick. I know
Phil
they
Needs?
have. Yeah, they have that. I know they've had their eye, and there's been a lot of scouts talking about Phil Needs, but we'll see. I think I don't think the Bears are going to be able to have a shot at him.
He was also asked about restructuring and rebuilding the defensive line in a similar fashion that he did last year to the offensive line.
Yeah, I think it's always possible. Things got to come together. That mindset was there from the day I walked in. But those opportunities, the clarity that we needed wasn't all there. So we were able to capitalize on some cool situations there through trade and free agency. I'm not sure how that's all going to line up now. I know from a cap perspective, we probably don't have enough to make all of that work on the defensive line. I do think on our D-line, I think there were some situations, mostly injury, that didn't allow that to really come together the way it was supposed to. So I look forward to that happening. But we're also going to have to continue to bring talent in to create competition so that our defense can take the next step.
Yeah, they don't have the money to do what they did last year, I don't think. And they had sort of a perfect storm with the Chiefs having to make a decision and making Tooney available for trade. I give them credit because they struck. They realized what was going on, and they realized that was a special opportunity. But you'd have to find something similar with a team stuck in a cap decision place to make a move like that.
And one thing that you talked about, I think it was probably last week, we talked about Dennis Allen and finding out what his needs are, what he wants. And so he talked a little bit about this, not just specifically Dennis Allen, but a lot of the different coordinators as well, too, and the assistant coaches.
I think that was yesterday, not last week.
Oh, is today Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was yesterday.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah. But anyway, Ryan Poles talked about looking at what's needed for each individual unit for the organization.
Yeah, when we first got Dennis in, it's really for all the coaches, position coaches, coordinators. They came in and talked about what they need, like what's the prototype. I knew from what Dennis was bringing, scheme change over the last few years, it was going to take a little bit of time to get exactly what we needed. But as you go through that season, you ask more questions. You're sitting in the weekly evals of our roster, all the way to last week here, and then go through their UFA stacks and inserting where our players line up in there, both guys under contract and not. You get more and more clarity as you go through. So I feel pretty good about that.
Last one.
Yeah, so then what he talks about there is really what you wanted. Like, hey, what's the prototypical, what's the guy for your scheme for this position? What's the guy you want? What are the measurables?
What do you want?
Yeah.
What can I get you?
For? Yeah.
Welcome to the restaurant. What can I go to the kitchen and whip up for you?
So that's something that they, started last year, and that's kind of to identify those players. And obviously you can't identify and bring in all those players to meet all those needs, within one season. So obviously the focus last year was on the offense mainly.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if that kind of shifts this year and if the defense is the main priority based on what happened last year.
Yeah, I don't think that personnel is going to be the difference in large part with the offense. I think improved play is going to be the big difference. And I think understanding the playing time for Luther Burden and Loveland and just figuring out running back might be an exception to that. But for the most part, I think it's reasonable to presume that this offense can produce better in year 2, even as is.
Dan, I think I may have said that starting in week 6 or week 8, that we talked about the offensive unit. I said, this is what your offense is going to look like moving forward. With the exception of maybe DJ Moore being gone, you add a different wide receiver, and now the questions at running back and the running back room that might look different. But I said the majority of what you see this year is what you're going to have next year.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. And I think I agree with you that's what's going to happen. I also talked about the possibility of having to pay Caleb Williams and really figuring out all the contract situation within the organization.
Yeah, I'm really fortunate to have Matt Feinstein. I think he's one of the best cap guys in the league. He gives us a lot of different scenarios for us to operate in, but also showing us the short-term and long-term effect of each one of those decisions, because we want to stay in that sweet spot where we have maximum amount of flexibility as we move on, not only from this year, but 3 years down the road. I hope eventually to have a quarterback situation too, where we got to pay a young quarterback. So that comes into play as well. I think we're getting closer and closer to clarity on that side of things, which helps us start to build those models to make sure that, again, we're doing the right thing for us moving forward, and we're not put ourselves in a situation where we got to make really, tough or bad decisions down the road that hurt us.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that's football general managing 101.
Right.
That's the whole job.
And we got the answer too, Matt Feinstein.
Yes, Feinstein. Yes, but that's the job. You at least have somebody there who can say, "Hey, if I do this now, does it hurt us later?" Yes.
Yes.
Should I do it? Well, you can, but here's why you might not want to.
All right, so two more cuts here. One from Ryan Poles, one from Ben Johnson on Tyson Bagent. And I'm glad that these questions were asked. And by the way, some questions that were I don't know if I should do it during the show or talk to you off recording. Some of the questions, man, I just don't get. Like, why are we talking at the combine about guys that are no longer there? Why? And not only that, why multiple questions about guys that are no longer there?
Like who?
The coaching staff.
Like who?
Eric Bieniemy. A couple questions to Ben Johnson about Declan Doyle. Like, why are we wasting time? We're at the combine. Why are we talking about guys that left? Like, do that not in this time.
Yeah,
you want to get a quote about why a guy that's not there anymore?
I don't know.
Do it some other time. Just it's annoying. But anyway, we get to Tyson Bagent. So we'll hear from Ryan Poles first, and then I want to get back to, because we had this conversation last week about, was the interest really there? Was that generated from like Arizona Sports Talk? Was it there? And I took it to a certain point, but I couldn't take it as far as I wanted to in that conversation because I didn't know what Ben Johnson truly thought of Tyson Bagent. Okay. We know that he loved Tyson Bagent, but he didn't give us a pure quarterback NFL evaluation of Tyson Bagent, but we get it in his answer. So first Ryan Poles, then Ben Johnson.
We anticipated someone like Tyson's going to get some, interest. We've gotten a few calls there. Obviously the tough thing is with, what Ben thinks about Tyson, what I think about Tyson, what our locker room thinks about Tyson. That's a really tough decision for us. But for Tyson as well, like I think he would have an opportunity to go and perform for a team and do some really good things. But again, you got to weigh the short term and long term. So now, what's the cost of replacement, right? To get someone like Tyson, we spent a lot of time developing him. Ben spent a lot of time developing him, so you got to replace that as well. So, interesting dynamic there that we're gonna have to work through.
What's that look for?
Well, that's not a no to trading him at all.
It's not a no.
That is very far from a no. That's
Correct.
Make me an offer.
Right.
Is what that. Well, we'd really have to consider. We'd really have to look at that. But that is not it's off the table. We wouldn't consider that. But wow. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well,
So now listen to what Ben Johnson has to say about Tyson Bagent.
I love Tyson. And that's one that kind of pulls at your heartstrings a little bit because he's someone that you care about so deeply, and he's a hell of a football player that at some point you want to see him have a chance to do it himself. And so, we'll always do what's best for our team and our organization. I do think there's a lot of merit to having a strong number 2 quarterback, which he certainly fits that bill. I'm of the mind that he's probably one of the best 32 in the NFL. His preseason tape over the last few years has probably confirmed that, in my opinion. But if I took myself out of the equation, I want what's best for him. If he would like an opportunity to start, I certainly hope he can get that somewhere.
So I got the answer I wanted. Ben Johnson thinks Tyson Bagent is one of the 32 best quarterbacks in a 32 quarterback league.
He said, I think.
Yes. I think he is one of the best 32 quarterbacks in a 32 quarterback league.
Why would you say that if you weren't trying to trade him?
So it goes back to our conversation last week, which I couldn't take it one step further without hearing that from Ben Johnson. And we said if you were to get a 4th or a 5th round pick for Tyson Bagent, you and I would drive him to the airport and we would help him go. Mm-hmm. I think the Bears, at minimum,
they want a 3rd.
They want a 3rd round pick that becomes it's a conditional 3rd round that becomes a 2nd round pick based on how he performs. Then I think they would trade Ty. They think he's a starter in this league. A starter.
All right.
They believe they have 2.
If he's a starter, they should get a 1st.
Well, you're not going to get a 1st for that guy. You're just not. I think they're realistic about that. You're not going to get a 1st round pick for a guy that hasn't played any extended time, that was an undrafted free agent.
Well, I'm saying, though, if you could develop an undrafted free agent quarterback and flip that for a 3rd,
a conditional 3rd that becomes a 2nd.
That's a ridiculous development victory.
100%.
So it doesn't, and they wouldn't talk like that if they didn't want the phone to ring.
No, and he said he's got a few calls. Now I want to know: is it 3 calls from the same guy? Is it three different teams?
Is it a prank call? I don't know. Yeah,
so I'm curious to it.
That's he left a lot of doors open too. If we're looking at the stuff that he said about DJ Moore, stuff that Poles did. Because it sounds like, at least as things stand now, over the next handful of days, there could be a lot of talks.
There could be.
There really could, because when he was asked about DJ Moore, and he said, I've got to have conversations and see what the best combination of players we can bring in, but we want him here. We think highly of him. He's a great teammate. He's been productive pretty consistently over the last couple of years that he's been here. I have nothing but great things to say about him, but this is the time where we have to look at all the different scenarios and see what can allow us to put the best team we can out there. There's relationships there. There's a lot there that makes it really, really difficult. He's a guy we want here, but we have to look at all the different scenarios.
So for me, going into this offseason, if I were to have 2 categories, most likely to trade, most likely to cut. For me, on the most likely to trade side, number 1 is DJ Moore. Number 2 is Tyson Bagent. Most likely to cut is Tremaine Edmonds.
I think that's the consensus.
Yes.
I would agree, but boy, that is very far from a commitment to DJ Moore, and that sounds to me like Ryan Poles is also telegraphing to his counterparts around the league that you want to take this $25 million.
Yes.
Yep, no doubt. There was also this little piece of news regarding left tackle that they were saying that the Joe Thuney thing was only an emergency for 1 game. He's at left guard, and they want to have Jonah Jackson and Darnell Wright next to each other on the right side. So they are in the market for a left tackle, understanding all of the uncertainties that currently surround Ozzie Trapillo and the torn patellar tendon in his knee.
Yeah, and I'm just curious to see how they, because again, and we've talked about this too. That is my number one priority in this offseason, is addressing left tackle. And I know we're concerned about edge rusher, and we're talking about interior, the defensive line, and safety. Yeah, I get all those. You need a left tackle. You do not have a left tackle.
Yeah, you
cannot go into this season with, all right, we'll just fill it with a guy. It's that you cannot do that. They need to, for me, that's priority number one. You've got to address the left tackle issue. You have to. It's awful what happened to Trapillo, and if he plays next year, great. But if he even has an opportunity to get back on the field, he should be later in the year. And you have to answer that question with a solid answer, with a solid starter.
Yeah,
if that's free agency, if that's in the draft, it's got to be your priority.
I have plenty of doubts whether or not Trapillo is going to be a contributing player at all next year. My guess would be no. And even though they've pushed back against the idea of this injury being career-threatening, career-changing, from doctors I trust, everybody to a person says it is.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're probably right.
Deal.
And he probably will have an opportunity to be on the field next year before the season ends, but he just won't, because they won't have a need for him because they'll have that filled.
Yeah, and it's not a developmental year. You're trying to win the Super Bowl.
Correct.
Next year. It would be one thing if this were several years ago, or even to the point, early last year when they had to take that awful training camp battle further into the regular season and move guys around from the Raiders game on through there. So there's no screwing around next year. None. And you're right. It's too bad that they have had that kind of setback where the presumption is, as his being asked all these questions, but are you going to fix it? Like you fix the offensive line? Well, the offensive line isn't done right now. The most important position there needs to be acquired.
Right. Because you don't have that guy in the building. So you need to figure that out. And again, and I'm not advocating one way or the other. It needs to be solved. And it needs to be solved without any question marks. Like, well, hopefully this is the guy that can fill that void. No. Who's your starter? Who's your starter? And the day you bring him in, he's not there just for next year. It's not just a one-year fix. He's not holding a place for anybody. Like, I'm sorry, Ozzie Trapillo played great when he got the opportunities, and he developed and started coming along. But you can't look at it as a guy that's going to hold a place for 2026 for Ozzie Trapillo. It's a guy that we're bringing in that is our left tackle for the future.
Yeah, if Ozzie Trapillo comes back and is able to be any kind of viable player, let alone reach whatever his top ranges were when you drafted him in the second round, that's all a bonus at this point.
Correct.
I'm not concerned about him. I'm concerned about the Bears.
Yes. Yeah, and that's brutal, but that's how the business goes.
Yeah.
They need to find their starting left tackle that's going to be there for Caleb Williams' future contract.
And that's not going to be a draft pick this year. I just doubt that they're going to draft somebody and plug him in on this team like that. My
so
guess
it's a veteran guy.
It's going to be a veteran. It may be somebody who has played right, who you can move left. You might have to make some compromises and trust Dan Rochar when it comes to cost, because there really isn't that person right now.
Any other comments or things to talk about from either Ben Johnson or Ryan Poles that you saw?
Not really from this. I would like I said, one of my big questions, I would like to know how hard they're going to go to the league and say, you screwed us over on these compensatory picks and we should get them.
Yeah, because it really, I didn't really like Ryan Poles' answer.
No, I didn't understand the angle from which he was approaching it.
Yeah, like if you feel that it's a weird thing and you feel like, oh, that's not why we do this to get draft picks, you didn't make up the rule. It's the rule in place. Don't fight against it. And I wouldn't put it out there publicly that you're not really that interested in it. I don't like that. Like, I prefer that he'd go the opposite direction and be like, yeah, I'm pissed about it. This is the rule in place. This guy's running the Atlanta Falcons, making all their football decisions. We deserve those picks. I want my picks.
Yeah, and I haven't heard a reasonable explanation to say why we don't have them yet.
Even when the guy that got that job says, yeah, they deserve picks.
Mm-hmm.
He said it. The guy who's president said, I'm not making any football decisions. This guy is. Like, fight harder for it, Poles. I don't get
Maybe.
the whole idea of calling it weird, and it's not why we do it. No one says you did.
Okay. Well, either way, just get a better explanation than we've gotten so far.
Yeah, and we'll see. We'll see what comes of that as well. Mel Kiper put his first draft, his mock draft out. Your guy.
I have it called up right in front of me
really?
right now. Yes, I was going to get to that next because this was the first name that had the first time we didn't see either the safety Emmanuel McNeil Warren or Zion Young. And this is Caden McDonald, defensive tackle, Ohio State. It's a name that is well known.
Right. Oh no, we've seen this in other mock drafts for the Bears.
Okay, I don't know.
We have. I've been tracking. I have my list somewhere, but yeah, we've seen his name before. One of the more popular names as well too. So Caden McDonald comes up, and actually Mel Kiper has him as his number 1 defensive tackle on the board.
Okay.
So, yeah. Again, we're not here to debate the draft picks or the mock draft. I want to put them out there and just track them, and so we get it all out there.
Yeah, the only thing I did notice the pick that is 2 slots later, and that's Caden Proctor, the offensive lineman from Alabama. Because if you like the good stuff, if you watch the highlights and get tantalized by the highlights, that stuff's real good. And then most of the experts say, yeah, well, and this goes for most people, you're never as good as your highlights show. But he's had some bad situations as well, but he's a really big, good athlete.
Yeah, hey, you said your feeling is that they won't address tackle position with the draft. If they take a tackle at 25, I'm down.
Yeah, well, I like Proctor.
Yeah.
I really do. Because then you've got around that area, you've got the Clemson kid, that's Miller, right? And I think he's considered more of a right tackle than a left. I don't know. I'm always concerned about how the positions are defined because so many college tackles end up being interior linemen and just don't have the athleticism, size, or length to handle the tackle spot in the NFL.
Yeah, and I saw on SI they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players for Bears fans to keep an eye on.
Okay.
And again, these are all defensive players. Caden McDonald, Lee Hunter, Caleb Banks. He's not going to be at 25. Dylan Feineman, or is it Feinman? Again, I should probably look that up to see how they say that kid's name. From Oregon, the safety. TJ Parker, the defensive end from Clemson. And then Anthony Hill Jr., the linebacker from Texas. Just telling you, man, there's a gaping hole right now in the offense, and it's that left tackle position. And I just don't know if people are just not considering that, looking at it. If it's just, they did the offense last year, now it's this year they're going to do the defense. Why not one person is talking about a tackle position for the Bears at all in any of these mock drafts?
I don't know.
Don't get it.
I don't know. I think you're right to prioritize it where you are, though.
Yeah, Caden McDonald on NFL.com, his prospect ranking is a 6.39, which is eventual starter plus. Peter Woods, another name that we saw mentioned with the Bears a couple different times, a 6.36. So all right there. All right, I have another name I want to throw at you, another obscure name, a name that maybe you wouldn't think of or hear about, but a guy that I've read a few different times now about on different websites. A running back out of Virginia Union. So now it's a Division II school.
Charles Oakley.
Is that that's right.
Union.
He did go to Virginia Union.
Yeah, he did.
So they have a running back. He's a senior. Curtis Allen is his name. And so running back out of a Division II Virginia Union. He finished with 2,400 yards rushing last year and 30 touchdowns in 12 games. Okay. Again, I know the competition's there, but he's 6'2", 215.
Okay.
He's not one of the, he's not 5'10", 200 pounds. This is a big boy, 6'2", 215.
Hey, Kyle Monungai's right here, man. You can't.
I'm not bad-mouthing Kyle Monungai.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. He's
is
just a
5'8",
guy.
220.
This is just a guy, Curtis Allen.
Okay, good name.
Yeah, I love it. And I have to look at do Division II guys get to go to the combine? Do they get invites? I haven't looked at the running backs to see.
I don't know, but here's the gambler's fallacy for you.
What?
As we were just talking about what they could do if they were able to flip Tyson Bagent and have an undrafted D2 guy end up being a third-round pick for him or more. What would the odds be that one NFL team has two major D2 successes, or like even making their roster?
Yeah,
Again,
you're right.
Again,
you're right.
But gambler's fallacy.
Yeah.
You can flip that coin any number of times, even if it's been 9 heads in a row, still 50-50 on that 10th.
Anyway, if you're the kind of like football nerd that likes to look into stuff before the draft and the combine, look at Curtis Allen, running back, Virginia Union, 2,400 yards, 30 touchdowns in 12 games, 6'2", 215. All right, and I have one last thing for you. I was looking at the NFL upcoming schedule, and they're gonna have 9 international games this year. Okay, and a few of these games are set already. But I wanted to ask you, world traveler Dan Bernstein, and part of this trip that you get to partake in, part of this trip includes going to the football game. So you can't just go to one of these cities. You have to go to the game as well.
You have to go to the game in the city. Okay.
But you get a free trip. You get first class travel. You get a beautiful hotel, 5-star hotel. But part of your itinerary is going to this game. So are you interested in Melbourne, which is the 49ers and the Rams? That's been confirmed. Rio de Janeiro, which is Cowboys and TBD. Paris, which is the Saints and TBD. Munich, which will have the Lions. Madrid, which will have the Packers. Mexico City, or one of the 3 London games. So London, Mexico City, Madrid, Munich, Paris, Rio de Janeiro, or Melbourne.
Okay.
Part of your trip, you have to go to the game.
The answer is all of them.
Okay.
But if I want to take off the ones I haven't been to, I've been to Paris, I've been to Madrid, I've been to Mexico City, I've been to London.
London, yes.
So the others are Rio,
Melbourne, Rio, and Munich.
And Munich. I would say
Munich, you get the Lions, and could you possibly get a Bears game? Do you think the NFL would take such a big rivalry game and put that international?
I don't know. I'm not going to consider Bears possibilities here.
Okay.
First of all, how long would I get to stay? How long would, like, outside of the football stuff, would I have extra time, or do I have to like go to the game, come back, and I'm hurried the whole time?
Let's make it okay. They're not going to give you a week there because it's free. But let's say you get 2 days before the game to do whatever you want. You have the day of the game, then you have the day after the game to still be there, and then you leave 2 days later. You leave a day after that. So you have
Melbourne.
You have 3 full days in the city outside of the football game day.
All right, it's not enough time to justify the flight times for Melbourne. For me, it's just too much travel.
All right, let's say they give you a week.
Stay.
Let's make it a week.
A week, I'm a little more interested. But if I'm doing
yes.
Australia, I'm there a lot more than a week.
Okay. Oh, you could stay longer. You could just do it on your own dime.
Oh yeah. Well, you make a busman's holiday, as they say. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Australia.
You'd go Australia. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to go see the 49ers and Rams.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that the ones you have, because I do want to go to London. I've never been to London, but I'm not sure I want to go to London to go see a football game. So for this particular exercise,
You wouldn't go to London to see an American football game. You'd go there to see a Premier League game.
Yes. Yeah. I think for me, for this exercise, I would go to either Rio de Janeiro or Munich.
Okay.
So Lions and whoever, and Cowboys and whoever.
Yeah, I mean, Munich, I've been to Germany, but I haven't seen Germany because I've flown through Munich and I've flown through Dusseldorf, but I've not
So you
seen
saw the
those
airports?
cities. Saw the airports in those cities, but
Did you have a beer and a pretzel?
no, I did, however, have a waffle in Brussels at the airport.
You probably should.
I did make sure I actually had, and then they lost my suitcase.
Was it good?
Losing my suitcase?
No, the waffle.
Yeah, it's fine.
No.
It was fine. Yeah.
You would think that'd be better than fine.
I will say, though, sometimes you get lucky at an airport for a good version of a regional classic, because you want to know the biggest secret, and I know this is something that Beth is going to do this weekend because she's going down to see Jason. The Café du Monde at the airport in New
Is better than the
Orleans
restaurant?
is better than the one at Jackson
Really?
Square.
Interesting.
Yes. And I don't know why, but I'm saying the beignets are actually better. You're not going to get the, sitting along the shore and you're not going to get the ambiance.
The experience of it all.
Right. But the actual quality of the beignets is not even close. They're better at the airport one. I think they must be just either changing out the oil better, or it's not as much of it, one of these giant assembly line kind of places. And that would be, so do that. When you first get there, the first time you get off the plane in Louis Armstrong Airport and you see, Cafe Du Monde, get the beignets there. Then if you want to walk around the square later, you're like, I already had those. I don't have to go sit down and wait and get covered in powdered sugar.
Yeah, but I disagree with you, even though I haven't done it. If I were to do it, I would do it the reverse way. I would take the experience first.
And then on the way
out,
grab the beignets
and say, "Oh yeah, they are better." But I wouldn't want to ruin the experience before it happened, knowing that the beignets won't be as good.
Okay. No, I get it. No, I understand your logic there.
It made me think of when you said you had a waffle in Belgium, and I asked if it was good. The worst bratwurst I ever had?
Lambeau Field?
No, at Miller Park.
Oh,
was
so
very
bad.
Disappointing. Yeah.
Don't use their special sauce either.
That wasn't special sauce.
What they call their brat sauce?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Here's what was funny. I had a great one at the old county stadium. And I don't know if they changed it, or maybe I caught a brick, and sometimes you just end up with a bad one, and it wasn't a sample. But it was also something about the contract there, because it was Clement's Sausages, and then I think it changed. I think their supplier might have changed over the years. And I don't know if it changed when they moved to Miller Park or it changed afterward, but I do remember having a really good one.
It was a bad one at Miller Park. The best, one of the best sausages I've had at a baseball game was up a couple years ago when we saw the Twins and White Sox. And there's a vendor that's like homemade sausages. It's some family-run business. Oh, it's so good. That was good stuff.
I heard the walleye there is good. It's like either walleye on a stick, or I don't know if it's a walleye like a sandwich or a basket or something. It's supposed to be excellent.
I didn't have any fish. I had the sausage.
Okay.
Good stuff. All right, so you're going to Melbourne.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm not going to Melbourne. It's not for that time. If I'm there longer.
I said that they'll give you a week. That's not long enough?
Yeah, I'd rather
you need
have
a couple
longer.
Weeks in Melbourne.
Yeah, I mean, you're on a plane for 17 hours or whatever it is. You're completely messed up. It's going to take you 2 days to get acclimated before you can, figure out what you're doing and where you're doing it. And I want to see more than Melbourne. If I'm going to Australia, I'm taking a month and I'm seeing everywhere. We're going to the Outback.
Yeah, I'm just not interested in being on a plane for that long.
Yeah, but first class.
Well, it'd have to be first class, but still,
right.
That's
it's a long time.
That's a real long time.
Yeah. Some of these planes have like the little workout things though, like the those like stationary bike things that they can put at your seat. That would help.
Now, if I can get one of those, like where I get my own bedroom on a plane, you've seen those, right?
Oh yeah.
Now I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that.
The full bedroom thing.
Yes.
I wonder. Yeah, there's got to be some wild stuff that goes on in those, man.
Well, I would think so. If people are doing it in the regular bathrooms.
No, but have you seen? That's like the. Have you seen the Christy Noam Corey Lewandowski plane?
I haven't, and I'm glad I haven't either. So not interested.
It's unbelievable. Like we're paying for it. You're paying for it. You might as well see it.
Ugh.
Yeah. So both the married couple can fly around the country and share a bed. I guess. I don't know.
The actual activity at the combine starts Thursday. Is that right?
Other people. No, there's activity out there. I've seen the videos.
Well, the players and stuff. They've already started. I thought it was Thursday.
No, I think they're already there's videos up there. Unless they're fake videos, there's people doing things.
Are they old videos?
I don't think so. I was looking at.
I thought it was
the who's the Iowa return man?
Were you doing some scouting of old videos?
I was. I was going back and looking at the guys.
Xavier Worthy guy's fast. Bears should look at him.
This Percy Harvin can really move.
Wow, this Joe Montana. Whoa.
Yeah, I'm glad Mike McCarthy developed
by Mike McCarthy.
Yeah. Really, boy, it's like a McCarthy quarterback through and through right here. I like what I see from this Montana kid. But no, they were showing the Iowa return guy who everybody loves. He's like the second coming of Tim Dwight.
Oh.
Remember him?
Waiting for that, yes.
Iowa?
Been waiting for the second coming of...
No, people love the guy. His name is Caden Weegen. Caden with a K, Wetjen. People love the man. So write that down. Remember that name. Caden, I think it's Weegen.
All right, I thought it was Thursday. Why did I think that?
I don't think so. I think they get right after it. Otherwise, what are they going to do all day?
Interviews, and they're hanging out.
Sit around and
taking tests.
MRIs and shrimp.
Yeah, put your underwear on and
all that great central Indiana shrimp that they dig out of the ground. They go over to the local shrimp farm or something.
I heard they were flying in the local specialty from Bourbonnais.
Oh, you got to get the eggs there. That you got to import all of your eggs from Bourbonnais.
Yeah, so they get eggs and then Indiana shrimp, and maybe they get some grits from Louisiana.
You went to Indianapolis? What did you eat there? Well, you can't miss the shrimp. What? Oh, they're land shrimp, I think.
It's not radioactive, but it's still good.
Yeah, you got to go to downtown Indianapolis in the very middle. Go as far as you possibly can from any ocean to get shrimp. Well, is it edible? Yeah, they make it super spicy. You can barely taste it. Okay,
it's
perfect.
Edible, yes.
Perfect. Yes. Awesome. I'm glad that is the local specialty.
Land shrimp.
Land shrimp. Well, there are land crabs. And I guess if you ate scorpion, that would be kind of like a crayfish, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but why would you though? Do people eat scorpion?
I've eaten scorpion.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. It tastes like everything else.
Like chicken?
No, it tastes like fried stuff, Just a crunchy, yummy fried. It tastes like soft shell crab kind of.
Oh.
Not quite as rich and sweet.
I like soft shell crab.
Oh, I love soft shell crab.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, you don't eat the whole thing, do you? Like you
just pop it in your mouth.
I don't know. It doesn't sound interesting to me.
It's good. Well, it's certainly interesting.
Yeah.
You can't say it's not interesting.
Yeah, I'm not interested.
To eat a scorpion or a member of the Scorpions.
Now that's a different story.
Now they're in Munich. Yeah, you could find them. They're singing in Munich. No question. And in the rain.
All right.
Well, let's see who they trade first, whether it's DJ Moore or Tyson.
Oh yeah, that's what do I have? DJ Moore, Tyson Bagent. So 3 phone calls. They've had a few calls on Tyson Bagent.
Mm-hmm. A few calls for one of the top quarterbacks, a starting level quarterback. Sounds like
he says he's one of the top 32 in the league, man.
Yeah, keep fluffing, keep glazing.
That's a third. That's a conditional third. Turns into a second when he starts half the season.
Did you just come up with that out of whole cloth, or did somebody talk to you about that?
What do you mean?
About why you're very specific on the conditional third becoming a second.
No, I haven't talked to anybody. I don't talk to people.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah, you do. All right.
I haven't. Okay. I don't talk to people.
I'm just wondering why that sneaked in there.
Nothing snuck in anywhere. Sneaked in anywhere.
Okay. Just making sure.
I was I'm just saying, man.
All right. Well,
I mean, unless it's for a conditional third that turns into a second. Why would you make that move?
There it is then. You've put the price out there now for what it's going to take to pry the great Tyson Bagent away from the
he's
Chicago
one of the top
Bears.
32 in the league.
Okay. And that is
one of the greatest offensive minds in the league right now.
That is Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears and NFL podcast on 312 Sports.
Forward Progress has stopped. 10, 219, 219.
Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abeticola on 312 Sports.